guests, and callers who are responsible for their content and do not reflect the opinions of In Touch Radio or its staff.
Well, well. On this beautiful, romantic, sassy, and well. Let's try it again on this beautiful, romantic, sassy.
You gonna make me get word over there, Pete. Right. I like. No, you are a star, Pete. You are a star. See, you're out in the town last night, huh?
Yeah, I was out of town last night. In the wintertime, it's funny. By nature, I'm a Leo, and I'm an old-fashioned romanticist. So winter comes, I actually get out on the town more, and being a single guy, I look to see, can I rescue a damsel in distress?
Hey,
But before we get started, good morning, everybody on Facebook Live and all. You see, Clint is the brother has come back to his roots, folks, from Riverview to wearing regular hood clothes in West Tampa, and I got my coach thing as if I'm still with the Eagles
I'm
or
trying to
something.
figure out what the heck is going on with that shirt.
Well,
Pete?
a team is whatever it
But
says.
it says, "Who are these kids and why are they calling me coach?"
Hey, well,
I guess it's better than "Who are these kids and why are they calling me daddy?"
Yeah,
I mean,
I thanks to George Wiles and Henry Shake Washington and Franklin Brooks and Jim Gatlin, I was volunteering for George Wiles when he was the varsity girls coach over at King.
okay.
And Shake was coaching the boys, and I was working with the girls, and Frank Brooks was the
What was it like?
JV
30,
coach,
was it 30 years ago? 35 years ago?
something like that.
Okay.
And James Mr. Gallen got appointed principal at Buchanan. So he took Frank Brooks with him to be the head boys coach over there. And Frank Scaglione, George Wiles, and Henry Shake Washington got with Frank Scaglione, who I knew. And I got to be the JV girls basketball coach for a while.
Oh wow.
And then of course, I worked over 10 years with the Tampa Eagles.
Now, what were your basketball coaching credentials to qualify you to coach girls JV basketball?
Well, the credentials was I was a statistician and trainer under Randolph Kinsey at Blake. Everybody had to know the plays and all, and then I knew a little bit about basketball. And George, I was working with him and actually served as a helping with the play on defense.
Okay.
And so it was an opportunity. I'm like you, and even our producer, we always give it back.
There you go. Right.
And I think when I finally got my check, it was like $200-some back there for a coaching stipend. But before we get into anything, Clint, we lost a good judge. The Honorable Circuit Court Judge Carl Henson for the 13th Judicial Circuit passed away on yesterday. And the reason why I bring it up, because before he got to be judge, he was previous president of the criminal trial lawyers and local thing and all, but he represented respect as a judge. And the reason why I want to send out sympathy to his parents who are elderly in this, they're mourning, of course, the community is mourning. But I want to remind our listening audience, when you lose a good judge like that, and under this political climate, that vacancy is going to be a gubernatorial appointment.
Correct.
And Carl was scheduled to go for re-election next November. So I'm telling the audience up front, don't look, and I'm saying it as a Republican, but I call it as I see it. Don't look for, even though the Judicial Nominating Committee has sent up black lawyers before, Travis and a lot of black lawyers from here, they've had them on the JNC list going up to the governor.
Right.
Don't look for a black lawyer to be appointed a circuit judge. They don't do that. Rick Scott in Hillsborough County appointed one county black judge in 8 years. since DeSantis been in. He
okay, all right.
So I just want to.
Right, but what's the what you're trying to highlight? What issue though?
I'm highlighting two issues. Number one, we want African Americans continue to apply.
To apply. Now, hold on. Now, if you just told me the system doesn't result in the
I'm gonna get to the second part. In the last election cycle, it used to be you don't run against incumbent judges,
sitting judges.
Okay, sitting judges. All right. In the last election cycle, they did that, and then we had even a lawyer that run a county judgeship she was barely eligible to run. So I don't anticipate a fair-minded judge being appointed. I'm just going to be straight with you, because the rule of thought now among extreme right-wing governors or whatever, that they appoint right-wing lawyers on the bench.
But okay,
I'm just gonna
right.
So I'm saying
I'm a shovel. I got to scoop a little bit of that out. Let me dig in that a little bit, because we've been having, I'm going to say it, Republican leaning. I won't even say conservative, because the appointment process is purely political.
It is. Always has been.
Purely political. So my expectation is you have a Republican governor. He is going to lean towards appointing Republican judges. That's pretty
that
consistent.
Is correct. But
I think Jeb Bush may be the only guy that didn't hold that line as tight.
Well, Jeb Bush, if you go back and look at the record, even among some of the Democratic governors, Jeb Bush had a good percentage of appointing black judges. Now, in this case, when you look at the process of what's been, I'm going to be straight out with you. The Florida judiciary is becoming more wider and more to the extreme right beyond conservatism, because they're looking at appointing younger judges who are part of the Federalist Society.
Well, that's a reflection.
I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but
that's okay.
So
no, we talk about it.
I'm begging people, please pay attention to that. And you know,
from the election on the election side.
No, on the election side, we're not going to get a gubernatorial appointment that's black.
I don't know. We've gotten a couple out of.
We only got one. Only one count. See, you know as well as I do, county judges are not as influential as a circuit
No, they're
judge.
not. But it's an entry point though into getting to the circuit level.
But when you look at DeSantis appointments in Tampa, remember they had a headline a few weeks ago that says governor appoints 4 rule of law judges for Tampa. Rule of law now is a dog whistle for the extreme right. Okay, so I'm just saying, before we get into our thing, those of you, you're not going to get a good judge that won by election. Remember, he lost the first time and he came back and he had overwhelming election. You're not going to get a good judge, fair and impartial like Carl Henson, through the gubernatorial process. I'm saying it now on record, and if I'm wrong, I'll be man enough to apologize again. Yeah. You're not going to get a black judge appointed a circuit judge in Hillsborough County.
Well,
I want us to. I say this. I want our black lawyers, if you're interested, or if you found somebody that not black you think that's going to be fair and impartial, be prepared to run them against that appointment. Because folks, look, I give you some research. Just look at the totality of the gubernatorial appointments the last 11 years.
Okay, but let me throw this in. Let me throw this in about the judge piece. Being a judge is not attractive in the way that I think non-lawyers see it being attractive.
Well, I know that.
And the first thing is, it doesn't pay well in the grand scheme of being a lawyer. So if a lawyer of the caliber that would be able to win the appointment pursues it as it stands now, they're gonna have to think, okay, I gotta take a pay cut. If they're where they should be, they're gonna take a pay cut to take. That's a tough spot. The second one is the old environment. It's very, very restrictive. Very, very restrictive. And I'm going to leave it at that point. So it's tough to get.
We'll address that. But
and then you watch somebody like what happened with Alec Hall over the years, and then you take what's going on with Travis right now. Why waste your time on that? Why not turn your attention to something? Watch me now that you can control. All right.
Well, we got to get our black lawyers to, hey, look, when you're young and once you qualify for that 6-year rule, if white lawyers who barely qualify to run being a member of the bar 6 years, and they can win. Why in the hell can't a young black lawyer take an opportunity?
Because you don't have the demographics and the financial
Well, we
back in
gotta
Hillsborough
change
County.
all that
Well, that's a
because-
whole politics. All right,
Okay,
so let's
well,
jump into a
what's
couple
that?
things.
I really took.
All right, so I was really taken back. Let me get your thoughts on something, and I apologize. We have not briefed this at all this
Okay,
morning,
that's
Pete,
fine.
and that is the Dante Wright trial that's just starting up, that's where the Minnesota police officer shot the young man. He was getting back into his car. She comes up and yells, "Taser, taser, taser," and boom, she shoots him. That jury selection process has gotten underway. You did such a fabulous job, Sweet Pea, of predicting the outcome and handicapping the last two trials. I just wanted to get you on record for our listeners of kind of where you think this trial may be going, because she said this early on during jury selection. I am going to testify, which I was surprised at that. But have you been watching it?
Yeah, I've been following the
I'd
whole
like to get
thing
your
from the
early thoughts
beginning.
on
Here's the
handicapping
thing.
that one.
Police officers, in a case like this, they feel comfortable in testifying because when they look at the jury of their peers, we talked about this last time.
Yeah.
Okay, you're talking about a white female police officer that says, "Hey, I was intended on tasing him," and then she's going to testify. I'm going to testify, and you're going to see the tears again and the whole bit. And you're gonna the makeup of the jury. You may have one black, you may have two blacks on there, maybe. And I think in this case, for what they charged her with, involuntary manslaughter, or whatever it is, I think she's gonna be found not guilty. And not only that, I think with her she's gonna be found not guilty, and it won't even be close to the similar case of a white female officer that shot the guy in his own apartment in Dallas.
Wow. Well, Pete,
just saying.
I hate to even start the show
Well,
this early.
you
with
got to
saying
look at
this.
the juries.
I hate to say this, Pete. I'm just going to say you're wrong. I think she's going down. I think I was listening to jury selection. There were 3 different jurors that said, "How could this happen?" And I thought that was very interesting. How could the meaning? And I translate that to mean somebody needs to be held responsible for someone who's a dead person. So, okay, we got Pete on the record. I say guilty. Pete says that she's going to be.
Soon as she cry, a white female police officer
Oh, she going down.
is always given more the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, she is. But I was
than a-
surprised
than
at
a-
how
than a white
liberal
male
the jury
police
pool.
officer.
But the jury pool seemed very liberal.
Once she started crying and say, "I really didn't mean to shoot him,"
I think that's prime. I think, but she can. I think it's okay that she didn't intend to shoot him. At the end of the day, she did, and I think they're going to
it
hold her
won't
accountable.
fly. Can I tell you another reason why it won't fly before
Okay.
we move to another subject? If the trial had occurred before George Floyd, they probably would have found her guilty or probably a lesser charge. But now that the George Floyd case is over and a couple of other cases in there, they're not going to look at that case like they did the brother of color that shot the well-to-do white woman in the alley that time. Remember that
right,
case?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I stand there. I've been,
Okay,
I'm,
so
I'm
we had
2-0.
him on the
All
record.
right,
Pete
all
has
right.
claimed he
Soon
said
as
she's
the
going to be
tide-
acquitted.
I didn't mean to hit him. I didn't mean to hit
All
him.
right, so another thing that's hot right now, and I'm not going to gloat about it, fine upstanding Kappa being elected mayor of Atlanta, is Stacey Abrams has made it official. She is a candidate for governor in the state of Georgia. And everybody remembers 3 years ago, she came real close, but for some fraud. And Pete, I just want to tease this up a little bit, because when we come back
She
from
can't
this,
win it.
stop it, Pete. Not that quick. Not that
And
quick.
I'll tell you why she won't. When we
Hold
come
on.
back.
We're gonna come back after. We're gonna take a break. We come back. Pete is going to explain why he thinks she can't win. I have a whole different perspective. That's the beauty of straight up the middle. That's what brings us all right down the middle, so that we can appreciate the different perspectives. So we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, Pete is going to explain why he's wrong about Stacey Abrams and her ability to win the Georgia's race. You're listening to In Touch News Radio,
New
reality
papers out.
radio. Everybody can be a star. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Right back on this sassy Saturday morning.
Listen, I don't think I've seen that.
Look at it.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecue? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Ainsley Doe with Florida Realty Unlimited. As a broker with 15 years experience and a veteran of the Navy, I do understand your needs. Real estate prices are up. So if you're thinking of selling your home, call me for a free market analysis. If you're planning to buy a home, please call me for a free buyer's consultation. For more information, call Ainsley Doe at 813-546-1954. Once again, the number is 813-546-1954. Or check my ad out in the In Touch community.
When you've been injured, you deserve help from an attorney that knows how to handle your injury claim. This is attorney Clinton Paris from the law office of Clinton Paris. For over a decade, I worked for insurance companies, and now I use that knowledge and experience to help people that have been injured. For a free consultation, call me, attorney Clinton Paris, at 813-413-7924. That's 813-413-7924, or at parislawoffice.com. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt. Offices, Riverview.
Oh yeah. I feel like Barry White. You know, it's so nice outside, and this is the romantic season where you can be romantic and save money if you're dating. I let the ladies catch a hold of that joke later on, but you can save money and date during the winter season. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
mentioned the new In Touch
Oh
News.
yeah, look
paper-
at that nice.
paper design.
They're already talking about the countdown New Year's Eve on the front page at the Island Bistro with Ryan Robinson and Shauna Solomon. It's gonna be a thing, and I haven't thought about how I'm gonna bring in the New Year's yet. It depends on who's in the balloon that's
What's
dropped.
all
I'm
right.
just saying. All right, now back to Stacey's.
All right,
I'm
so
gonna
let me lay the foundation first.
Lay it out to try to get a win out of
when
this
you
one.
chop the wood up too quick. It is okay. She has already declared, and not only did she announce it, but there seems to be an effort to turn this into a national election.
That's a mistake.
Okay, explain that to me. Why should we
Here's
lose?
the
Why that's a
thing.
mistake?
Okay, number one, all politics are local, pretty much, city, county, and state. Okay, Georgia put in some new voting laws, and as I told you, the one part of the law I didn't agree with, I thought was okay, was having a voter ID, a picture ID. We use it for everything else. They were going to pay for the citizens to get a photo ID, and you need it for everything. So that was a red herring that the Democrats put up about you're oppressing people because they don't have a photo ID. And I think about it, well, if they go to Amscot or anywhere else, they got to show a photo ID. So what's the difference? And if they're not paying for it, then it was the responsibility of the black community to overwhelmingly push truck, trailer, caravan, or whatever, to get our people to get the free ID, because a lot of folks don't have ID, period, regardless. So if the state's going to pay for it, and all, you call them, you beat them at their own hand with that. Here's the other reason why Stacey Abrams can't win. At the time she ran the last time, she was able to get, first of all, it was I believe a presidential election.
No, she was in front of. She was a year or two before.
Okay,
that.
but
So she's
anyway, it was
it's a
coming up
midterm
to-
election.
It was a
basically.
midterm election.
Yeah.
But she was able to get a more hipper coalition for the moment of African American professionals, African American gay and lesbians, old school ministers who are trying to build up their congregations again to keep our black kids from going to these fake white churches and stuff like that. So it was a different dynamic. Now she comes back after teasing about being a vice presidential candidate, which she would have lost with Joe Biden. It wasn't gonna happen anyway. So now she comes back and say, hey, I'm going to run. Our buddy Edna Rainer told us all the time she was going to run. But here's the key. When you look at the Atlanta election, and you're going to talk about that, your frat brother, he wasn't even really favored to win that.
But he won by landslide.
Right, he won by
Eventually,
landslide.
right.
Okay, and then you look at her coming back now as the prohibited favorite to probably win governor for Georgia. I think within the black community, they won't have the unity as they had when she ran the first time. And then when you're talking about an off-year election, that even makes it, we have a problem. People of color, in particular African Americans, have a problem being consistent with hell has no fury, let's get out and vote. We just don't do it in off-year elections. And not only that, I'm looking at Georgia, I'm looking at Tampa, Florida, and all. There is no fire in our community to keep the young people 40 and under who could make a difference in voting. They have no plan to keep them fired up consistently. So how do you do that? During an off year, you talk about the philosophies, the policies, the procedures, and the law that continue to hurt you. Well, once the presidential election was over, outside of this redistricting mess, you have not, when I talk to young people, nobody is continually educating them on anything. I look for, when I found out that the Republicans were now outnumbering Democrats in the state of Florida voter registration, one of the things I look for, I said, oh man, it's going to be hell now, because the black community, the leadership and all is going to get immediately out to say, hey, look, because I look at it from an independent point of view. Hey, look, we got the Republican Party, most of them extremists, have out-registered us now. Nothing. And that's the issue is going to be in Georgia. The people are going to be concerned more about making sure the black senators stay in place than they are about Stacey Abrams. And here's the difference. If she had stayed in Georgia and she had worked the southern states around Georgia, like Alabama, Florida, and let's say South Carolina, but stayed southerly in her approach about why we should change the South for the better, she probably would have been more respected. But what happens to black candidates a lot of time, we get a photo bite and sound bite, and all of a sudden we want to go nationally and think we're effective nationally, and then you forget about the foundation that still needs to be cured and built upon locally. I'm just saying.
I would just say, I don't
and y'all
think
can
I've
call
ever,
in the 444-9588. That's 813
that is a good, yeah.
444-958.
813-444. All right, P.
She'll lose by 4 percentage points.
I don't think I've ever heard you run
Write that down.
So many mistaken concepts in a row.
Well, let's see what the
let's
viewers
start
think.
the first one. We're going to start the first one.
All right.
I think the climate for her candidacy in Georgia is better than it was when she ran last time. And I'm going to tell you why. Last time when she ran, the Republican Party in the state of Georgia was very unified. They were all Trumpers. They were all ready to go. Trump rolled in. Everybody, they were unified. That's what she was up against. And she was up against someone also who was running newly to office at the time. Now she's running against someone who is extremely unpopular. Extremely unpopular because he didn't overturn the presidential race for Donald Trump. So he's in a weakened position, and you're going to have people in Georgia who've already, Donald Trump has already said he needs to go. So he's probably going to have a knockdown, drag out primary.
Well, he won't make it out of the primary.
Which is that's okay. That's even better, because when whoever comes out of that, you have now a split Republican Party that's now got to try to figure out how do we rally now. And I'm predicting what you're predicting. You're going to get a Donald Trump supported candidate who comes out of Republican primary. And there are Republicans who made it already clear in Georgia by the Senate race, we're not going along with that anymore. So that, I think that's the first thing, is she's facing a weakened opposition. Her position is stronger now. Here's why you nationalize that race. For fundraising. There's going to be more money coming in from black folks all over the country who want to see her win in that race because of the symbolic nature of what it means for black people throughout this country. She's very well liked. So I think that nationalizing of the race is going to bring in the media coverage, and it's going to motivate the young people who really are the backbone of this. Now, unlike Florida, Pete, black folks from New York, Philadelphia, and all these northern states, they're moving to Georgia.
That's true.
It's the white conservatives who are now moving to Florida. So unlike Florida, Georgia has become more Democratic. It's more Democratic voters in Georgia
But
now.
you got to break down the See, here's
we get to that part. We can
Okay,
get to the
you know what
breaking
I'm
apart.
talking
But
about.
I'm just saying, though, just from the registration, the pool of people to pull from is larger because there are more Democrats in Georgia. The money to support the candidacy is going to be larger. She's already got this founders funding campaign, be a founding member of my kickoff and all this kind of stuff that's already rolling out. And here's what's going to you're not probably anticipating. I think this is going to be the most celebrity supported campaign ever. When it gets down to the end, you're going to have a barrage of people because it's the one election Black America can focus. Everybody doesn't have their own elections going on they have to focus on. All the energy and effort is going to be pushed into Georgia to make sure she is successful.
But here's the thing.
That's why I
if
think
I'm
she's
part
gonna
of
win.
her campaign team, my strategy would be for a state like Georgia. Number one, yeah, I want the fundraising. But the big time celebrities and all of that, send a check and you stay out of Georgia.
No. I'm gonna tell you why not.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you why not.
If I'm on
Listen,
the campaign trail,
you get a parade of athletes coming through. You get a parade of well placed events and things of that nature. That's going to motivate your young people. You want to talk about policies and platforms? They could care less. They could care less. The young folks could care less about that. They don't know it. They're not paying attention to it. What they're going to see is Lil Wayne said, vote for Stacey Abrams. They're going to see LeBron James gave out free tennis shoes and said, vote for Stacey Abrams. They're going to see that kind of a celebrity endorsement. And I think it's going to be
I'll tell you what, Gia, have you thought about that may turn off some black conservative voters?
No, because they're not voting for anyway. They're not voting for anyway. No. It's not enough of them, and they're not voting for her anyway. But I think her thing is she's got to motivate younger voters.
All right. What about? And I think we make a mistake a lot of times, even when we're trying to build new coalitions. Now, I'm looking at her campaign and all. There's nothing in the campaign that says she's going to, as of right now, that she's going to attempt to, in earnest and sincerity, peel off moderate Republican voters to come to her side.
She doesn't need them.
That's a mistake.
I'm gonna tell you why.
That's a mistake.
The Republican Party is gonna peel them off because it's gonna put up a candidate that's distasteful to them. See, she don't have to worry about the Republicans. They're gonna do their own destructive work together. That Donald Trump is not gonna let is it Kemp, Governor Kemp, get back in office, and every other person that they put up in Georgia has been like Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of these folks. They have been just unacceptable to the realistic people that are trying to save the Republican Party.
Well, when we come back, Stacey, she's made two mistakes. Although she built a foundation in Georgia, she abandoned it too quickly to try to move on the national scene. That was a mistake, because if you're talking about young people, in order to continue to get them motivated, you got to stay grounded with them where you start your foundation at. So you can have that's my opinion. And I'm telling you, she's going to lose by at least 5%.
All she needed to do, and Donald Trump showed this, all you need to do is keep my name in the news. Stacey Abrams. And she's done that. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. The specifics of it, I don't think young folks matter that much, and that's why you miss them in the voting surveys and things of that nature. I think she's got a great, and I think it's a platform that we can use in other elections.
Write that down. I'm on a roll of victories. Stacey will lose by a minimum of 4 percentage
Yeah,
points.
4
And
points.
when you look at it within the age breakdown in the black community, I'm telling you right now, if you're talking about black voters 60 and up, her percentage of them voting for her this time will be less than when they ran the
Oh
first
wow,
time.
that's
Because you got to remember, you got to compare her to how she was able to pull a coalition together like Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. And if Lightfoot run again, she's gonna lose. See, we forget sometimes.
But she didn't. But she, hold on, Lightfoot won, and people are unhappy with her.
Right.
Stacey Abrams lost, and people were just.
She
they were,
left too quick.
She didn't leave. She's still been
Well,
in Georgia
what I'm saying
working.
is she's working, but she
She
wanted to be on a national spotlight before she really solidified.
But she understood that when you come back, she's coming back now as a national candidate, and she will be elected. Georgia. Let's
Not
take a break.
chance. Let's go
We're
to
gonna
break.
come back. Gotta find
on
out.
this beautiful, beautiful. I mean, let the windows up. Whether your
And y'all
nails,
wonder why I wear
yeah,
shades inside.
whether your nails are done or not, Clint. Whether the nails are done or not, just wave them in the air.
You and Keith Sweat, all that bad.
I love it, man. I love it. What do you do? I mean, it's beautiful out there.
Let me let the man go to break. We'll be right back. In Touch News Radio.
All right, go
Reality
to break.
Radio.
We'll be right back. You feel me? We'll be right back. Let me get up for a minute. All right. It's one of
LA to Tampa Bay, I am back. It's Locks by B, bringing you a special gift right before the holiday. On December 11th and 12th, I will be hosting a 2-hour hands-on lock training at my Shade and Texture beauty store. If you're interested in learning how to start, maintain, and style locks, this training is for you. In addition, leave with a starter kit and digital curriculum. This year, invest in yourself and learn a new skill set, or sharpen your skills as a lock stylist. Be prepared to start offering lock services for today's demand for natural looks. To register and for more information, visit www.locksbyb.com. That's LOCSBYB.com. Hope to see you there.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
I know that's right.
On your smooth soul and R&B station. On the World Wide Web.
Access granted.
In Touch Radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer? I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking care of state of Florida. Grab a pen or something down 184-361-RICK. That's 184-361-425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, push your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 184-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky, is a legal and medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
DJ Pete, bring us back in, Pete.
well, listen, everybody. Welcome to In Touch Radio News, reality radio, where everyone is a star. We want you to call in at any time you want. 813-444-9588. I'm sending this voice out to Daryl and Tammy. Tammy, it was good to see you. We went to the groundbreaking ceremony for the Skills Center.
Yes.
It was a beautiful event and all like that. So, everybody, we need everybody to make a difference in our community. And even if we have to hold our nose a little bit, if we get the right coalition to improve our neighborhoods and make everybody stronger, fine, that's what you got to do. Because in politics, a lot of times, they don't play up your virtues, they play up your vices. And,
Yes.
all you don't have, they'll invent. So, it's this thing. But getting back to Stacey.
All right, so here's what I want you to explain. How the Republicans become reunified after the primary.
Okay, here's what's going to happen. Remember, you got to look at that race is going to be interesting in the Republican primary because you got a little bit of true conservative running as Attorney General for Georgia, who's not a trumpeter, okay? Then you got Ransberger or somebody trying to run for re-election who Trump doesn't like, and then Trump doesn't like Kemp. Well, in the primary, the former U.S. Senator, his brother was the governor, Perdue, one of the Perdue brothers, is also, they're pushing him to run in the primary. Why? Because if he runs, he will beat Kemp. Because remember, Trump said, hey, I'd rather vote for Stacey Abrams rather than
But
Kemp.
Anybody beats Kemp in the Republican Party
That's
because
true.
of the
All right,
DNA.
so when-
let's just see.
when the
So it doesn't
senator-
matter who they put in.
But
My thing is, how do
Perdue
you
went-
get them reunified? How do you get these people who do the Republicans, who are real Republicans, who've decided to save the Republican Party? We can't support anything that Donald Trump gets involved in. How do you all get those people
Well,
back in?
once Perdue wins the primary, Donald Trump doesn't play a part anymore. I tell you why. Because when you look at some of the things that Perdue was involved in, and you look at, he did some work with a black representative, I believe his name is David Scott, who heads up a agriculture committee for the House of Representatives, and also Sanford Bishop at the time. So that teamwork.
Hold on. You're saying Donald Trump, after the primary,
Would disappear.
and hold on after he gets Perdue, he's just gonna go. The Donald Trump we've seen.
Well, he may be there, but Perdue is not going to depend on him to win the general election, because he's going to depend what.
How does he keep Donald Trump away though?
I'll tell you how I would do it if I was Senator Perdue. If I'm the Republican primary winner, I will take advantage of my years of service as a senator, working across the aisle to bring home the bacon to Georgia. You know as well as I do, a lot of times, and I think our listening audience know, we need to teach young people this. Don't buy the hype of all these elected officials always sniping at each other out front all the time. A lot of that is fake news, okay? And so Perdue recognizes that he's going to need crossover vote, but he can utilize his ability in working out deals as he was a senator, and then, with the governor's thing. I want people to realize something about the state of Georgia. One of the best combinations they've had recently was when Mayor Reed was in office in Atlanta, and he was able to work with the previous governor there because they needed each other, especially when Obama was in there, okay? And so it's always something behind the scenes. And as I tell you,
I disagree.
Well,
Pete.
she
I
can't. What
see.
if she's going to try to run on what people say a socialist? I don't buy that. I don't believe that.
I don't think that. All she can
Her
do is say-
record dictates that she's more. If you look in the terms of true things, now Stacey Abrams could be considered. Believe it or not, she could actually meet the minimum qualifications from being a moderate Democrat.
Okay, so stay right there for a minute. And here's what I'm saying though is, all she has to do is not scare people. All she has to do is not say something just scary, that we're gonna have same-sex bathrooms, or all she has to do is just not scare people. And if she doesn't scare people, everything else comes about the idea, about electing her for the Democratic side of, we want to win and success.
She cannot. First of all, she's going to have a problem holding on to the Democratic coalition. There's been a shift change there.
Where are they going to go?
Well, they may not vote. And
Why
then
would they
the
not?
other
Hold on.
thing,
Let's too many assumptions.
she's got to get a
Okay,
coalition.
but why would they not vote? And that's what I mean by not scare people. They're good citizens. They believe in meeting their responsibility. You're just saying that they're just going to decide, I'm not going to vote for her when they want her to win.
It's not a presidential election.
But it wasn't
yet.
the last time, and she almost won. And
But
if they don't purge the voting rolls, last time when she was, I thought, relatively unknown, she probably would have won.
Well, 2 years make a difference, and I'm telling you, here, I would advise her, if I was part of her campaign team. Number one, you're gonna need to find a coalition of Republican voters to really solidify.
She needs Republicans?
she's gonna need them in this race.
Explain that to me.
And how? What I
Explain
mean
that to
about
me.
that?
Why she needs Republicans?
All right, look.
Why does any Democrat need Republican
Well,
votes?
in Georgia, because remember, businesses are moving to Georgia and all like that, but those are generally Republican-leaning businesses. Whether we like it or not, big money leans Republican. Big business leans Republican. So if I'm advising her, I will look at the demographics of the in the big cities and say, hey, we need to get the coalition of business, white moderates and all, Republican who just are tired, and you hit on it earlier, they're tired of the extremist view. How can we get them through fundraising, or how can we get them through
Let me tell you,
voting?
Pete,
because once you go behind the voting booth, nobody knows who
You're
you
right, right.
vote
But
for.
I remember when I had a guy that was trying to talk to my girl one time. And every time I look up, he's putting the word in. So you know what I told him, Pete, one day? I said, listen, man, you're wasting your time, bro. You can't change her mind. It's been made up. So that's what I would tell Stacey about Republicans. Don't waste your time. They got an issue motivating their own voters. So I wouldn't even get involved with that. Now, I would agree with you, she's going to have to woo some independents over. But Republicans, I'd leave them alone. I would tell any Democrat, don't worry about trying to get Republicans to cross the line, because whatever you do to get those voters, you're going to lose good Democratic voters in the process.
That's a mistake of telling young people, because we fool them into thinking that the only racists in the country are all registered Republicans.
No. I think
I'm
political.
just saying.
No. If you say that, America's pretty evenly divided, about 40% Republican, about 40% Democrat, with about 20% independent. The independents decide the elections. Who votes? Which of those independents decides to go one way or the other way, and of your own party who are not motivated, who stay home.
Well, Clint, I'm gonna say this one more thing on that before we go on. I'm at the point, as I look at, because I love reading and researching and all, and trends and all.
Yes.
I'm at the point to believe that there's a strong possibility in the midst of the campaign. I got a feeling that Stacey Abrams will withdraw.
Oh no.
Put it down in your book.
Boy,
I want our audience to understand.
I won't even write. I'm not writing that down.
I'm telling you.
That's what are you saying? You think there's something in the past that forced them to withdraw?
I think there's right. I would say, don't be surprised in February. Now, she can say health reasons or whatever the case may be, because a lot of times people withdraw from running for office for reasons other than stated for public relations.
Absolutely.
Okay, don't be. I would say in February or early March, it may be. I would go as high as there's a 50%. The way I look at it, 50% chance by early March she may withdraw.
Based on what, though? I mean, I didn't check the weather today, but what? Based on what, Pete?
I just think it's going to be. I think
Think
when
there's
they
something
look
in
at
their
the
background
numbers,
or something that's
no. All of us have we all have a flawed background.
Yeah, but
so
she's
that's
been
not-
through that vetting part. She's been vetted already, so
but
nobody's really going to go back looking.
I think, because everybody's, even other Democratic candidates have been probably trying to figure out some weak points, But I'm of the belief, either health-wise or something that we don't know of now, that it's a 50% chance by early March that she may withdraw from
Absolutely not. Listen, she has
All
a
right,
chance
write
to
it
make.
down. You heard me,
We
Mr.
got a
Producer.
lot of stuff wrote down today that you didn't give, but she's in a position. I think it's almost like
But
her
even
race
if she
to lose
runs, she can't.
in Georgia.
The race was never hers to win.
But
the
she
first
did.
time,
That's the key
the
point.
first time, yes, but not this time.
That is the key point. I think there's nothing like a team the year before getting close to winning the championship, and the next year, like Milwaukee, they're motivated more than ever to fight their way through to the finish.
I think in the end, when you look at the results at the end, you're going to find that she actually had a decrease in support from her own black community.
Oh, absolutely not.
I'm
you got a
thinking
new
about
mayor in Atlanta,
5%.
fine, upstanding gentleman.
Yeah,
He's going to motivate the voters, and you're going to
Well,
bring
look at that
outside
upset.
work.
Look
I
at
think,
that upset
look,
in
and
Atlanta.
they're going to be outside people coming to work the ground. It's going to be
All right,
I think
we're going to be
national
going to break in a minute. 813-444-8255. 9588. And ladies, as you take time to do your Christmas shopping and Amazon, whatever the case, remember, this is the season for giving back to nonprofits and charities within your community.
Let me get some.
So I want you to do
some
that.
begging going on here.
And also I want you to remember the brethren that will assist in putting up the tree and protect your house, so nobody won't steal the gifts and all. Take time to say hello to them. And also the thought for the day, Clint, as we go into this romantic season for men and women or whoever your partner is, you know what the thought is? Work with me, baby. Just work with me. I'm just saying, that's a good gift to tell somebody, work with me. And we'll be right back. Y'all like it this morning? I love it, man. I feel so frisky, I don't know what to do.
Hey, man, I'm keeping my distance.
I understand why you keep your distance, brother. But if your voice got a little sulfur, well, you know. But we'll be right back. That's just a joke, folks. We'll be right back.
All right, so we're going to...
You're listening to Tampa Bay Tammy
Your girlfriend.
on In Touch Radio.
In Touch Radio. Cancer affects everyone, but minority populations are often hit hardest. Moffitt Cancer Center is working to address the barriers that keep some groups from getting the care they need. African Americans develop cancer at a younger age, have more aggressive cancers, and experience worse outcomes than the general population.
While cancer treatment is evolving with precision medicine, who is being left behind? We know for many decades that some groups experience a greater burden of cancer than others. We can prevent it, we can detect it early. It's very beatable when we find it early. I have worked with cancer patients during their treatment. All cancer patients have courage.
So my treatment was about 18 months. I had 3 cancers and 7 surgeries. But my son told me, like, Mom, you're the strongest person that I know. Moffitt saved my life.
During COVID-19, Moffitt is a safe place for your cancer care. Call now to schedule an appointment.
Hello, Tampa Bay. This is Ainsley Doe with Florida Realty Unlimited. As a broker with 15 years experience and a veteran of the Navy, I do understand your needs. Real estate prices are up. So if you're thinking of selling your home, call me for a free market analysis. If you're planning to buy a home, please call me for a free buyer's consultation. For more information, call Ainsley Doe at 813-546-1954. Once again, the number is 813-546-1954. Or check my ad out in the In Touch You.
Good morning, my Facebook friends. Good morning, good morning. Don't forget the new edition of In Touch is out. And I want y'all to read, I love her, even though she get on me sometime. I want y'all to read the Dear Girlfriends.
Oh, shit. Now that's Tammy giving that wonderful advice.
Yeah, even with a smile, she knows how to chastise you know what I mean? But in this edition of Dear Girlfriend, she brings it at home.
Yes.
To the point of never let everything overstep your desire to live at peace, healthy,
right?
And because there's work to do. And people say all the time to me, why do I always say that there's work to do? Because it's like education. Every day it's a learning experience. Every day you and I are out, we see that there's work to do. I consistently rather build first within my community before I go out and ask others.
Well, if you look at the idea, here, check this out. This is an interesting concept. I try not to be too philosophical on the show, but I'm going to say it this way. And that is life and success is not a destination.
No.
Life is a journey. So every day is part of that journey. So you never come to a place where you get to or should stop thinking about how do I improve or progress in my journey. Now, what I love about you mentioned the paper, that's physically in our local markets. But if you're watching on Facebook, you go to the website, the paper's on the website also. Click on it. The clicks matter. We're a multimedia operation. We've got the print media. We've got the live broadcast media. and we have the online
And
component.
I can't wait, because when the good doctor comes back, or even before then, I'll let the listening audience know I'm seriously contemplating running for an elected office. And so,
Now I saw you go from the parking lot to the building, Pete. What kind of running you talking about here?
well, I mean, by walk or scooter or whatever the case may be. So I want to. It may come to a point. I'm looking at it now.
Now, why? Let me tell you. You've been very, very effective over your life, impacting whatever environment you've been in.
Well, that's why I never ran for. I ran years ago in an 8-man race, a candidate race.
Which race was that?
That's when the federal government indicted Perry Harvey.
Okay, I remember that.
Okay, and I got. It was 8 of us in that race.
That Les Miller was in that race?
Yeah, the final runoff was between Les Miller and Nadine Smith.
Got it.
But there's room to serve, and at that time the kids were younger. I didn't need to run as far as get my name out there and all that kind of foolishness. But after some spiritual motivations, I thought it was the right thing to do, because I thought during that interim period, I can do better. We can do better as a community.
Well, I would say this, Pete. I agree with you. I think if you don't get good people to serve, you get something else. So I encourage anybody that's of a mind and
almost
spirit.
35, 40 years later.
Well. So let's take a quick look.
Let's go to Biden.
Let's talk about Biden a little bit.
I told everybody in the beginning. I said, number one, and you're seeing it play out.
Now, the issue is Biden's approval rating started on the 50s. He's now at 45%.
Well, that's because people don't look at things of success long term. Biden has only been in office a year. I had expected his approval rating would be around 50%, but his own party has let him down. Why? Because the way people think now with social media and quick digestion of what they think it ought to be and all, the Democratic Party has not laid out a consistent plan on the positive effects of Joe Biden being in office. There's a lot of shovel-ready projects that they could get through this infrastructure bill and the whole bit, even before Build Back Better America, whatever they call the term now, which is similar to, in some philosophical ways, is Make America Great Again. But I told people Biden is a moderate Republican. They say he's too old. That has nothing to do with it.
But what is making his rating go down?
His party can't deliver good communications to people out in the community.
Message.
It's not a message. Right. See,
his
you
message
can.
Is bad.
The thing about it, and here how it affects communities of color. We always, when something that could benefit us, they bring the stars in, or they show up at a gala or some foolishness like that, and they give it from a standpoint of the upper black middle class. But how you sell it is the working class and the downtrodden and the poor. And ever since they signed that infrastructure bill, I have not seen, and I go out like you do. We go all over the place, man. I ride the bus. I don't care. I walk.
I was surprised you saw me last night.
Yeah, I saw you.
I thought I was sliding through.
Yeah, you was sliding.
I was looking short. You saw my outfit.
I like that.
I was looking short. Corduroy jacket on, man. My bow tie.
Right. Well, I'm everywhere. But what has happened? What has happened with Biden? They can't sell it. And here's a good example. We have a congressman here who been in Congress a long time. She's always, historically, has only dealt with, unless it's a very quick photo op like at Open Cafe or something, but she has never, the record speaks for itself, has never endeared herself to working class, people of color, low-income people, and African American community. She gets out in the community, but only for what I call more snooty, sophisticated men. So but when I talk to the people on the bus stop, when I talk to the guys who really been down on their luck because of disability issues, or just they don't even know who in the hell she is.
Now, if this was the professor sitting in that seat and he said that to me, it would sound like that was a trap question.
No, it's not a trap question.
And I'm supposed to walk into the trap.
No, it's the same thing.
I'm not going to go in that trap because the issue is Biden, not our Congresswoman.
What she represents. See, here's the thing. Biden got the job done on the infrastructure bill.
But does you think she's affecting his rating by not coming back locally and talking up what was in the bill?
They know she's in a position that she can get her lieutenants out and all and say, hey, forget about the well-to-do people that bring us checks.
I think that answer.
They're not doing it.
But Pete, I think that answer is very injurious to your hood brother status in a couple of ways. Yeah. One is, it doesn't touch what I think really is his problem. Here's his problem: gas prices, because it touches everybody, and they associate it's costing me $10, $15 more to fill up my tank since he's been in office. When they walk in stores and their favorite item at the store is not on the shelf, they think, man, is my government really working or not working? Hold on. I'm just telling you what people see and their visceral reaction. And when they think about this idea of everything, I just had a quote to get a roof done on a piece of property, about $6,000. I didn't get it done. I got to get it done now. The quote came in at $9,500. I associate that with my government. That's what I think is impacting him. Now, you mentioned the Build Back Better. I know this. All big things like that are just big, mega corporate welfare packages.
Absolutely.
Where more institutions make more money than they had made before, Pete. But I think that your failure to recognize that's more an issue than whether the Congresswoman comes back and talks about a bill.
Well, if you look,
that's what's touching everybody.
Now, here she's gonna use her position when she says, okay, we're bringing through Congress, through the president and I, we're bringing Tampa a $30 million check for whatever. But why can't she use that same influence to get to lower income people and say, hey, within this $30 million, this how it affects this neighborhood. What I found out, and particularly in a county like Hillsborough County, there are a lot of low income people, white and black, okay, suffering the same fate, and they ask the same question: who's representing us? So it's incumbent upon so-called leaders, if Biden, what they got set up is good, but if his lieutenants alone, including congressmen and everybody else, can't go to Branch and they can't go to 108th Street or Bougainville or somewhere like that and say, hey, look, this is how it's going to improve the North Tampa neighborhood. And maybe it's money in there, but the problem is, even within the Congressional Black Caucus, outside of a couple of election things, they don't go as a whole to the working class neighborhood.
But that's nothing new.
That's why his ratings is down. Well, it's wrong. It's wrong.
It just is. I'm just saying that's not why Biden's rating has gone from the mid-50s to 45. The reason it's gone is people feel like their lives are not.
But you got to show them by illustration. For an example,
you can't show me. What are you going to do? You show me a lower gas price. What you need to show me is a lower gas price.
Here's what
you can talk about. We're going to build a new bridge in 5 years. You need to tell me, well, I'm getting gas prices coming down. See, they're dropping. And go to the grocery store. You're going to see the bread is fully stocked. And by the way, y'all, other prices are going to be stabilized. That's what has to happen.
All right, here's what you do. It's nothing new with the gas prices higher. It's his first year. But keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, and, sometimes I get off track, the first year Obama went in office, was not the gas prices higher?
Gas prices were high most of his term and all, but now they start to come down towards the end.
So you have to sell it to the people. Hey, this is nothing new.
I agree the message fees. I agree the message fees there.
That's the problem with
but
them.
Hey, look, you can't tell me.
Some gas has dropped down. I passed a few places. Gas has now dropped down again.
Give our listeners something they need to be looking out for as they go into next week. Pete, real quick,
here's what we want
out.
you to look out for: is the availability of our kids. Teach them not to endanger themselves and others with these scooters and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Now, what's going to happen? Somebody going to blow somebody's kid's brains out.
We just had that over in
so
Lee Davis.
But I mean, some of these traffic
Last week?
people.
Was
But
it
in the
last week?
meantime, take a look at where you at this week and how much service you've given back to your community. And I will remind you, it's the simplest things of giving back that makes the big difference of a person who never thought somebody even noticed he or she was suffering. Trust me.
Thank y'all very much
All
for
right.
listening. Appreciate it. See you
And,
next week.
I'm going to get out of here. And whenever you see me, the voice is the same. Arrivederci. I just feel good. It's called Frisky December.
Enough, man. Enough.
Oh, not yet. Wait till wintertime.
There you go right there.
All right.
man.
Bye-bye,
Thank you,
everybody.
Bezel. DJ Bezel in the house.
I wanna tease you. I wanna please you.